Attention! 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 Why you hoes ain't tell me that Levi Stubbs and the Jackie Wilson was first cousins?
Hello, black hole. See this brother winning, man. Hey, hey, look, what is your win, babe? What is your win, babe? What is your win, babe? Kansas City. What the fuck is your win, babe?
Hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's looky would be our Priscilla personality glasses. This would be the number 2 frame. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube, and for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's talk about I'll Be There, The Four Tops by Duke Fakir. Please remember, all eyewear are currently on sale at uptopbeauty.com. Thank you for all of your support. I listened to everything my dad said, and I really enjoyed being with him. The only challenge was that in 1953, there was a major bus strike in the city. He lived at Venor Highway and John R. Wait a minute, John R. Isn't that the place where the prostitutes was? What book did we read that we learned that it was a whole bunch of prostitutes selling a vagina on the John R.? Isn't that it, y'all? Anyway, which was 7 miles away from Pershing High School. I walked down Woodard 7 miles every morning and then walked east another good half a mile, and it didn't bother me at all. I wasn't thinking about the journey. I had things on my mind as I walked, hoping and dreaming. I still got to school early because to me, being on time is late. After school, I walked all the way back. I did that for a whole week, and I didn't mind one bit. Being able to spend time with my dad was all that mattered. And I can dig it. Everyone in Detroit was caught up in the rhythm. Music was in the air. It was on a street corner, in your church, blurring from passing cars, drifting out of houses in every restaurant, bar, dry cleaners, bowling alley, or skating rink, on people's lips. Crackling on transistor radios, even the assembly lines in the automotive plants hummed in unison. There was a doo-wop group on every corner and talent shows nearly every week of the year. Growing up in Detroit in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, music was a part of your DNA. It was as natural to us as breathing. I can believe that. When a black artist played in Detroit, they were often booked at the Paradise Theater on Woodard Avenue, a concert hall built in 1919 for the Detroit Symphony Orchestra that became an important venue for black rhythm and blues and jazz artists in the 40s and early 50s. It looked like a majestic palace or temple, and it boasted perfect acoustics. One night, as a young kid of 13 years old, I made my way to the Paradise to hear the lineup. Lucky Millender's big band was playing, and they announced they had a young guest singing with them, Levi Stubbs, who was definitely going to be a star. He was 11 years old at the time and Jackie Wilson's first cousin. What the hell? When he first started singing, I was blown away. Shiz, this boy can really sing. He left an impression on me. I made a point to go meet him after the show, not knowing that in a couple of years our paths would cross again and we would become great friends. There was so much beautiful musical talent coming out of Detroit's ghetto in that era. It was like a blooming garden. I went out for the school choir when I first started at Northern High, where I went for my first semester of high school before I transferred to Pershing. Their choir was really good, and I was excited to join. I was the number 2 tenor in the first section. The number 1 tenor was a good-looking, confident guy who could read music and had perfect pitch. I was a bit intimidated by him since I couldn't read music that well. We were learning Handel's Messiah for Christmas, and I was stumbling through observing him singing the tenor part so beautifully that it seemed effortless. Who is this sucker? I said to myself, a bit jealous and totally in awe. But at the same time, I was learning from him. He was encouraging. You catching up, he said. You'll get it. Years later, as I moved up in my career, I realized that guy in the Northern High School choir with me was George Shirley, the first black tenor to sing a leading role in the Metropolitan Opera Company. When I passed through New York in the 60s, I'd see his name up on the Met Opera House marquee as lead tenor. I found a way to get in touch with him, and we met up backstage. George, you recognized me? And said laughingly, oh, you were that mother hunchy who was stumbling over those notes. Me and BFF was talking about how it be this one person, you know. Maybe they saw you one day with 2 left shoes on. Maybe, you know, they saw your jerry curl wasn't quite wet. It's something about that one person where you just got to show them. And it just be that one person. You know, and then it eats at your crawl until you see the mother and you be like this, I's married, bitches, you married? You don't know why, you know, and it really shouldn't matter as an adult, but it's just something about meeting those people that thought they were better than you at one time and showing them, remember when you thought you was better than me, bitch? Mm-hmm. I do. I met up with Levi again after my family moved from the North End to Conant Gardens, which is when I transferred to Pershing High, where Levi was also a student. Although Levi didn't compete when the track, football, and basketball teams went to games, he would ride on the bus with us and lead everybody in singing, like a pep rally. That's weird. But then again, when I think back at it, when I was in high school and elementary school, private school, whatever, and Shaw Junior High, what young boys would do is like beat on their desks, like Congo players, like future Congo players. And I guess that was our, you know, way of expressing talent. And I mean, when you got a good amount of boys beating on their desk during, like, let's say a 15-minute break or something, I mean, it really did sound good to us, to me. You know, I was in awe at the fact, like, oh, these little boys really sound good, you know? And then the teacher would come in and be like, okay, enough of their jungle boogie. Okay, that's enough. He got coaches to sing as well as the members of the team. And that's when we started to get close. But it wasn't until we survived a horrible gang fight that our deep friendship began. Before moving from the North End, I had joined a gang, the Shakers. I joined because my big brother, Azim, was a member. I was still a little young. They called me a little shaker. And I wasn't fully aware of what being a gang member meant. When my brother left for the Air Force, and when we moved to the new neighborhood, I became a member of a local gang there. The Gigolos. Girl, stop it. Oh my God. Killing me with the Gigolos? Girl, that means that women pay you to do the booty. As a gigolo, I never joined in with the fighting. I was a good guy and managed somehow. I mean, what did the gang do? What was y'all doing? Was y'all fighting or was y'all fucking? As a gigolo, I never joined in with the fighting. I was a good guy and managed somehow to ease my way out of the fights and spend all my time playing sports. But when Azim returned home from the military, someone in the gigolos got wind that we used to be shakers, their arch enemies. One night, leaving a party with Azim, Levi, and a few of our friends, 30 or 40 of the gigolos jumped me and my brother. Damn. Gee. Wow. They heard we'd been members of their rival gang and they were outraged. They started kicking my butt right behind Pershing High School. We were getting beaten pretty badly, but there was so many of them against Azim and me, it was hard for Levi to help us. I don't know, Dookie. I don't know, Dookie, if I would have that's not my fight, Dookie. You say it's like 30 or 40 of them whooping two people's asses? Girl, I ain't that good of a friend. Okay, well, maybe I am, but goddamn. Everyone was fist fighting until one guy threw me up against the car and broke a Coke bottle in full gang rage mode. He was about to stab me in the face when Levi grabbed his arm, pleading, no, man, please don't do that. Just fight him, beat him up, but don't do that. Levi was the kind of guy everybody liked. He stood apart from everything, always on the fence, keeping his distance from violence and gang wars. But he stopped this guy from busting me in the face with a broken bottle. The dude threw it away, but he continued kicking my ass. By the time they finished, I was on the ground, scarred up, barely able to move, crawling on my hands and knees. Been there before. This dude, I pissed this dude off one. Okay, pause, y'all, hold on. I pissed this dude off so bad one time because he was all raging drunk. Okay, And he was one of those kind of people that I told you about that you like to avoid. You like to avoid people like him because, you know, they just make the situation bad. You just want to stay out the way, right? But for some reason, that nigga would hunt me down. No matter how bad I stayed out the way, child, I tried to leave to go early sometime. It was like he must have had a spy or something on my neck because as soon as I stepped out the go, he was right there. One day, he was like, I'm sick of your ass, Nay. I don't understand why in the hell you won't mess with me. I don't mess with you because you're a raging drunk. And you got a girlfriend. He got so mad at me. He took me and he grabbed me and swung me around. I'm sick of your bitch ass. I'm sick of you. Swung me around, girl, and then threw me to the ground. Child, number one, I was so embarrassed. My ego was hurt because by then the go-go was letting out, child. I ain't even stand back up. I just crawled home. Crawling home. I only lived across the way. Everybody was laughing at me. I was like, I'm not standing back up till I get home. It was only like half a block down the street. But I was like, this is it. I'm not even getting back up. I crawled home. Don't forget to check out uptopbeauty.com. I love these glasses, y'all. Y'all are fools if you don't get these. These mugs is killing. My brother was hurt pretty badly too. And he wanted revenge. I'm going back to North End and getting some shakers. We're going to get these guys, he said, hauling me to my feet. I wasn't opposed to it, but I was beaten up so badly that he took me home to lick my wounds while he drove over to the North End. When he came back with the shakers, he picked me up and we all headed over to Joanne's restaurant where we knew the gigolos were hanging out. Of all people, Levi was the first guy to walk out of Joanne's. One of the shakers, a real tough guy, 2 knives, Panana man whipped out his 2 knives, ready to stab Levi. When this time I stepped in and yelled, "No, don't do that. That's my guy. The guys we want are in the restaurant," pointing to the door of Joanne's. As they ran inside, I grabbed Levi and jumped back in the car, freaked out, still quaking from the earlier fight. Azim knew I was too injured to take part in another brawl. My face was bleeding. I had cuts on my knees, scars I still have to this day, and my pants were all torn up. My brother told me to go home, promising me that he'd finish it off. Levi and I left the scene of the big gang fight. and ran back to my house, which was just a block or two away. From that day on, Levi stayed with me in my family's house. His family's apartment in the project was too crowded, and my house had a basement where we could spread out and make our own living quarters. We lived there like siblings until after graduation. I had a Judy, Candace. Her name is Candice. I will love this girl to the day I die. To the day I die. We just separated. You know, she's another Cancer. We just separated over the time. But I will love her forever. And my mother, she ain't slick. Mammy, you ain't slick. My mama preferred for me to have friends to live with me. Then she always knew where I was and what I was doing, opposed to me going out every night or every day to spend time with my friends over their house. You see what I'm saying? Because I needed to watch my sister. So what my mother would do, being smart, she would make sure that all my friends would live with me. Okay, so I'm always home. We always home. If we not out in the street, you know, having fun or getting something to eat or going to a go-go, we were home at my house, right? So my house was always the house that my friends could stay at. BFF stayed with me for a while, as I stayed with her when my sister got older and was old enough to take care of herself. But we've always had people in my entire family. We've always had people to stay with us. I'm glad that I'm from a family like that. You know, it makes me feel proud to know that my family is willing to always help my friends. But I see you, bitch. As long as I'm home, I can watch my sister. In 1954, as my senior year was ending, I wanted to go to college. I knew I would need a scholarship, so I approached Mr. Morris, who had been my basketball coach during my one semester at Northern. The white coach at Perishing High came up with no scholarship offers. Mr. Morris had admired my playing when I was on his team. With his help, I got an athletic scholarship to Central State in Ohio, a historically black college across the street from Wilberforce University. He encouraged me to go, but he was frank about the financial challenges. It's a very small scholarship, he said. You're going to need some extra money because this doesn't cover everything, but they'll be looking for you in September. Coach, if it covers anything, I'm happy, I said, determined to find a way. With the help of my mom, I set out to apply for city and state jobs to earn the extra money, but another opportunity quickly presented itself. Done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com for our Priscilla personality frames #2. Now remember this, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves you, babies. Have a good one. Peace.